always do. We will start with Namokar Mantra in a bit here. Just give me a second. I just want to note some chats here. Okay, do always do. We will start with. Okay, I think I'm live. So let's go ahead and do Namokar Mantra. Okay. So let's see who should lead Namokar Mantra today. Uh, Vikyat, you want to lead? Go ahead. And
Yeah.
I would like you to recite Namokar Mantra, and if you know Mangal Part, then please do recite Mangal Part as well. I would like
Namo
everyone to join their hands.
Namo Hariyantaram Namo Sitaram Namo Hariyaram Namo Vajayaram Namo Loisabisauram Eso Panchamarokaro Sabba Pava Parasaro Mangalaram Cha Sabbese Paravam Havai Mangalam.
Do you know the Mangal Part?
The Chattari Mangalam, right?
Yes, beta.
Yeah, I
Go
know.
ahead.
Chattari Mangalam, Arihanta Mangalam, Seda Mangalam, Sabhu Mangalam, Kebadi Padoto, Dhammo Mangalam, Chattari Lokottama, Arihanta Lokottama, Seda Lokottama, Sabhu Lokottama, Kebadi Padoto, Dhammo Lokottama, Chattari Sarvam Papachami, Arinta Sharam Papachami, Siddha Sharam Papachami, Shabu Saram Papachami, Kebadi Pado, Todammo Sharam Papachami.
Thank you,
Also,
beta.
one question: are there like two teachers for level 1 plus 12?
I'm sure there are two different classes, I imagine, but I would not know who is this other teacher at this time.
Because I just like the first class I did earlier was like a different, entirely different teacher.
Oh, really? But not at
Yeah,
the same time, right?
yeah, not just it was no, it was at the same time, same day. No,
Really?
same like Sunday. It was last week.
No. Praniti, it was me, right? Who took your class last time at same time,
Oh, wait, was
correct?
it a different? 1 second.
Okay. Vikyat, I know you have your own reasons, so I'll let you find out what happened there. Okay. We did Mangal part today, right? Vikyat
Mhm.
led us into Namokar Mantra, which is basically we are uh, expressing our obeisance to the five Parmeshti, the Panch Parmeshti in Namokar Mantra. Namokar Mantra is a mantra which is eternal, timeless. Nobody wrote it, nobody coined it. It has existed since the beginning, or it's beginningless like time. It's just passed down generations to us. It's called as Maha Mantra, the most important mantra for Jains and the most powerful mantra in our tradition, right? That's what Namokar mantra is about. In Namokar mantra, as I said, we bow down to the five Parmeshtis, namely Arihant Bhagwan, Siddha Bhagwan, Acharya, Upadhyay, and the sadhus. The mantra is the current mantra that we recite is written in a very old language called Prakrit. It's not Sanskrit. Several people have this misconception. So that's the first trivia thing you should all remember. That's the marker that you attended your class attentively. Uh, that it is written in Prakrit and not Sanskrit. Okay, Sarthak, important fact, right? If your parents want to test your knowledge, probably they'll ask this question to you. Okay, whether you were dodging off in the class or you were attentive. So I'm giving you that very simply and very directly. Okay, that's one thing. Now, the other part of the mantra that Vikyat recited, or something on which we had an interaction, was Mangal part. How many of you have heard about the Mangal part that Vikyat recited here? Uh, Okay, I see Sarthak, Ayush, Praniti, Mahika. Oh, awesome. And Deshna as well. Awesome. All of you. And of course, Vikyat. He has memorized it. So of course he knows about it. Great. Uh, How many of you know the significance of Mangal Path? I mean, it is a very simple structure. If you really want to memorize it, you could memorize it right in this class, because it's like a, it's a part which is made up of repetitions of common themes which are repeated. There are four things that are repeated three times in this set of Mangal Path. We first say, hey, these four things are Mangals. That means they are the four auspicious things. Then we say these are the four things that are the best, or the best in the universe. That is Log Uttama. They are the best in the universe. And then we say we seek shelter of these four things. That's all what we say in this mantra. This mantra is in Prakrit. And Vikhyat, yes, if feel free to jump off, right? I mean, if you think it, you are in a different class, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
found the teacher I had like last time.
Go ahead, beta. You can
Yeah,
drop
so I
off. No
think I
worries.
joined the
No
wrong
worries.
class.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Okay. So we'll keep going, right? So glad Vikhyat was here. At least he recited the Mangal part for us. Right? Okay. So there are these four things, Mangal part, right? Any one of you is familiar with this meaning already? Have you got this meaning earlier? Okay, I gather no. So that's okay. That's exactly one of the topics for today, right? So as I said, it's very easy to remember, to memorize to remember Mangal part, because it's first made up of three parts, and in each part we are covering the same four things. We first say that these four things are the auspicious things. Then we say these four things are the Loguttama, that is the Uttam in Lok, or in other words, they are the best in the universe or multiverse. And then we say these four things are the only things of which we should seek shelter. And this is a reminder to ourselves. We are not saying it to somebody else. Remember, Namokar Mantra is a marker of your own humility and for bringing positive vibes in yourself. Right? Of course, when you say it loudly, it builds so much of positivity around you that it may influence other people, who are existing around you, all the infinite souls that are, packed in the space around us, of course. But most importantly, we do this recitations for our own well-being. Okay, so that is what we have to remember first. We are not doing Namokar Mantra recitation for our parents. We are not doing it for betterment of your brothers, sisters, your grandparents, nobody. Most importantly, you are reciting, or you should recite Namokar Mantra and Mangal Part for your own benefit. Make sense? Okay. So we'll watch a very quick 5-minute video, and then we'll do more interactions on that topic. How about that? Okay, so sharing now. We are already sharing, right? Let me see. Can you see my screen, guys?
I'm sure you go to the Jade Temple a lot with your parents.
Can you see my shared screen, beta?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I can.
Okay, perfect. So let's see. Let's start with Mangal part. Okay. So here is Mangal part.
Jai Jinindra, everyone. Do you remember we shared a very powerful thing with you in our last video, which will give you great confidence to face every problem that you may come across in life? Do you remember what it was? It was Namokar Mantra. But a very interesting thing, which will fill your life with abundant happiness and joy. Do you want to know what we are talking about?
By the way,
Alright, let's get started.
when I go in mute, are you able to listen? Are you able to hear what the video playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Started. Did you know that Mangal means something that makes everything auspicious? like something that puts an end to all of our bad karmas. Types of Mangal called Arihant, Siddha, Sahu, and Dharma. Let me repeat the four Mangals: Arihant, Siddha, Sahu, and Dharma. The one that Kevali Bhagwan has taught us is Dharma. It means the God that has attained Keval Gyan, or infinite knowledge. Dharma makes us ever blissful and ever happy, as blissful and as happy as Siddha Bhagwan. Dharma teaches and tells us about all of the good things we need to incorporate to make our lives happy. So the four Mangals are Arihant, Siddha, Sahu, and Dharma. Tell me, according to you, who is the best in the universe? Is it the president? Or maybe Superman? Are they the greatest? No, even they have many problems in life. They are not always happy, they have greed, and they feel sad. They feel bad when their loved ones leave them, and they get anxious and hassled. So now tell me, who is the best in the universe? They are Arihant Bhagwan, Siddha Bhagwan, Sahu Bhagwan, and Keval Bhagwan. Whenever we face any problem in life, who should we go to find a solution and or get help from? Whose door should we knock? Who should we take inspiration from in life? And whom should we take guidance from? Any guesses? Yes, we should always bow down to the following four: Arihant, Siddha, Sahu, and Dharma. These four are our Mangal. They are the best in the universe, which means they are Uttam, and we should always take their shelter. The most important thing is, we can easily say everything we just learned from this video in a special prayer called Mangal Pat. Let's say it together. Chattari Mangalam.
I'd like you to recite it with the video. That way, at least you familiarize with the part at least once. The meaning is very clear, right? I mean, whatever I explained to you, in summary, is exactly what the video also talked about. So it's no different. It's just that I would like you to repeat the words, because that's the only way you would be able to memorize it later. Okay?
Arihanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Panato Dhammo Mangalam. Chattari Mangalam means that there are four Mangals. Chattari means four, and Mangalam means Mangal. Chattari Lokuttama, Arihanta Lokuttama, Siddha Lokuttama, Sahu Lokuttama, Kevali Panato Dhammo Lokuttama. Chattari means four, and Lokuttama means best among all beings, like the best people in the whole universe. Chattari Sharanam Pavajami, Arihante Sharanam Pavajami, Siddhe Sharanam Pavajami, Sahu Sharanam Pavajami, Kevali Panatam Dhammam Sharanam Pavajami. Chattari means four, and Sharanam Pavajami means taking shelter or refuge. Siddhe Sharanam Pavajami means taking shelter or refuge from Siddha Bhagwan. Sahu Sharanam Pavajami means taking shelter or refuge of sadhus. Kevali Panatam Dhammam Sharanam Pavajami breakdowns into Kevali meaning Dharma, Panatam meaning as told by, Dhammam meaning Dharma, Sharanam meaning shelter, and Pavajami meaning going. Therefore, Kevali Panatam Dhammam Sharanam Pavajami means taking shelter or refuge of Dharma. Do we understand? So today we learned Mangalpath and that we should recite Mangalpath daily so that our lives are filled with bliss, happiness, and joy. Jai Jinendra.
Okay, simple, right? How many of you are learning another language apart from English? Okay, Mika, which one are you learning?
I'm in school, I'm learning German.
German. Okay. Sarthak, how about you?
French.
French. Okay. Arush,
I'm also learning French.
how about you, Deshna?
I'm learning Spanish.
Okay. Now, these are all Romanic, European languages. Uh, they will obviously give you more exposure and connection to Europe, which is not our continent, like not from where we all originated. Uh, that's why, it's like you're learning about German and French and Spanish, and you are curious about it, right? You try to understand its grammar, its structure, and more you learn about it, more you stay curious, more you would internalize it, right? Same is the case with our own language. The older language from India. Hindi is our current language that's spoken around, but Hindi is not an old language. The older languages are Sanskrit and then Prakrit, the one in which Namokar Mantra and Mangal Path and many more of our texts were originally written in by our Acharya Bhagwans, right? So, try to stay curious even on those languages because the languages like English, Spanish, French, Hindi will give you uh, connectedness in space, but not in time, right? So if you want to become a time traveler, you probably would need to know languages of the past, right? You would have to stay connected with them. So while you are challenging yourself, your system, your school system is challenging you to learn a modern live language, I think you should challenge yourself to learn a ancient language like Prakrit, or at least stay connected with it. The most interesting part is I do all my translations now with help of ChatGPT. You would be surprised, right? If you give it a Prakrit shlok, and with the right context, that let's say it's from Dhawla or Samaysar and everything, with the right context, it can translate it in any language that you want it to. So you all are living in an age which is blessed with so much of technology and the power of AI and LLMs and neural networks and whatnot. It's just how you use it, right? I'm using it for that. It gives me so much of connectedness. I mean, of course, I didn't learn Prakrit while growing up. Of course, we had, I think, Sanskrit in middle school, but that was from 5th grade to 9th grade, 8th grade, maybe. Yeah, that's all what my exposure to Sanskrit was. I was not that motivated learning Sanskrit at that time. But now, with whatever learning I did at that time, I find use for it, right? So if you want to travel in the space, like in this modern earth or modern world, probably these languages that you are learning at school would come handy. But if you want to become a time traveler, then probably you need to pick up a few older languages. What if Sarthak ends up taking a time, traveling in time and reaches a, age of Mahavir Bhagwan? Hypothetical, but what if that happens? People around him would obviously not know English, but if Sarthak knows a little bit about Prakrit, he may survive, he may find friends, correct? So that's just a hypothetics, but I'm giving that thought to you to ponder over on what's the utility of knowing older languages, because there is so much of knowledge packed about our past that we can unravel if we know those languages. Hai? We have all these sutras, these small capsules of knowledge in sutra and shloks and stranjas and chand that we can unpack if we know those languages. So a challenge for you, but you don't have to find a teacher. There are so many stories where People have learned languages without guidance of a human being. Now you are supplied with so much of technology that you can do that. You just have to find not time, but motivation for it. है ना? Okay, so we'll keep going. So as I said, it's very easy to remember the Mangal part. It's 3 sets, organized in 3 sets. In the first set, we are saying there are 4 Mangals. 4 Mangals or 4 auspicious things, right? Chittari Mangalam. We start with that. Chittari Mangalam means there are 4 Mangals. What are they? The 4 Mangals are Arihant Mangal, Siddha Mangal, Sahu Mangal, and Kevli Panatu Dhammo Mangal. That's all, right? Then we say that the same 4 things in the next are the best in this multiverse. I don't use word universe because there are many universes as per Jain geography. So I prefer using the word multiverse when I'm defining the lok. So what we say, there are Chittari Loguttama. That means there are 4 uttams or 4 best things in this multiverse, in this log or in this lok. And these 4 things are the same. Arihanta Loguttama, Siddha Loguttama, Sahu Loguttama, and Kevli Panato Dhammo Loguttama. And then the most important thing, and that's the most important reminder, in time of distress or in time of bliss, whose shelter we should seek. Should we go and seek shelter in the idea of one supreme God, or should we seek shelter in the 4 that is defined as per our Agam? And what are those 4? Same. Arihant. So first we say Chittari Saranam Pavajami. There are 4 shelters. And then we say Chittari Arihant Saranam Pavajami, Siddho Sharanam Pavajami, Sahu Sharanam Pavajami, and Kevli Panatto Dhammo Saranam Pavajami. Simple, right? Very mathematical, very recursive, and very easy to remember, right? If you know the concept, it's very, very easy to remember. The structure is same, the words are same, right? There are not many new words. There are not like 4 times, 3 times, 17 words or 18 words. It's same repetitions. It's just about knowing it and then memorizing it by heart, so that in time of stress, when you are not supplied with either a teacher or some earpods through which you can listen to it, you can still find refuge in it. You can still find your solace in it. That's why we memorize the mantra. Otherwise, all this knowledge is existing somewhere, isn't it? It's only at the time of need how fast we can, retrieve it and use it for our own, benefitment, for our own well-being is what is important. Make sense, right? You all are like above 6th grade, right? So I'm trying to tell you things the way I tell these things to my kids, right? Same age. It's very easy for me to make you guys understand. You are all teenagers or preteens. It's very easy for me to make you understand these concepts. That's why my classes are always simple. Any questions before we move on to the next topic? No? Okay, great. So in that case, let's see how are we doing on time. We are doing fine. So let me go to the next part or the next video that we wanted to play today. Now, okay, again, this concept should not be foreign to you because you all go to temple, but let me ask this to you. Okay, whose bimb or idol do you find in the temple? Go ahead, Mika.
Mahavir Bhagwan and Parshnath Bhagwan.
Perfect. Who are they? What class do they belong to? Okay. Sarthak, go ahead.
Tirthankar.
Tirthankar. Deshna, any other name that you want to give to Mahavir Bhagwan and Parshnath Bhagwan other than Tirthankar? Tirthankar is right, by the way.
They all went to Moksha.
They all went to Moksha, of course. So who are they? What's the word for the
Tirthankar
souls?
Siddha.
Hai beta?
Tirthankar Bhagwan.
Okay, so do you think only Tirthankar went to moksha? Is that the only category of supreme souls that go to moksha?
No.
No. What's the name then? It's packed in Mahamantra. It's packed, the name is packed in Namokar mantra. So I want you to remember that Namokar mantra and tell me that one word for the that we use for the souls that are in moksha. Deshna?
Arahant Bhagwan.
Close, close. Uh, as I said, I want the exact answer. So the souls that are in moksha. Sarthak.
Siddha Bhag.
Siddha Bhagwan. Exactly, right? Arihant Bhagwans now are the Arihants of the past are now in moksha. Of course, so they are all Siddh. Hai na? But I was looking for the exact word. Yes, so it's Siddha Bhagwan. So all Tirthankars are Siddh, but not all Siddh are Tirthankar. ये बात बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ध्यान रखनी पड़ेगी, है ना? Every Tirthankar is an Arihant Bhagwan, and every Arihant Bhagwan is now, once they free themselves of their body, Ayu, Gotra, and the four Ghatiya Karm, four Aghatiya Karm, their soul also becomes a Siddh, right? But not every Siddh soul was Arihant or Tirthankar in the past. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि there are so many souls which are Siddh now, but they were never Tirthankar. They were never Arihant Bhagwan. है ना? बहुत सारे ऐसे मुनि हुए हैं who have been like, who were able to overcome their karma, get rid of all their karma and attain moksha. They never became Tirthankar because the number of Tirthankar is in this universe that we are part of is only 24. So do you think universe in moksha there are only 24 beings? No, right? There are, innumerate number of beings or souls in moksha as of now. Not all of them were Tirthankar in the past. Anyways, today's topic is Tirthankar, so I'll bring the focus there. Majority of the temples that we have are temples dedicated to one or other Tirthankar Bhagwan. Like Mihika said, right? In her temple, she has Mahavir Bhagwan and Parshvanath Bhagwan. Some temples are dedicated to Ajitnath Bhagwan. Some temples are dedicated to Rishabdev Bhagwan. Some are Chaubisi Bhagwan's temple, right? But there is one Pratima or one idol. We use the word Pratima or idol or Bimb, which is dead, or Murti, which is called as Mool Nayak or the main idol, which is the bigger idol with more glory and everything. That one is called as Mool Nayak, right? So every temple has a Mool Nayak Pratima. Now, some temples, as I said, may be of Ajitnath Bhagwan, some may be of Mahavir Bhagwan, Rishabdev Bhagwan, and Parshvanath Bhagwan, and Chanda Prabhu, and many more, right? Out of the 24. There are a few temples which are not dedicated to Tirthankar Bhagwan, but to a different type of Kevli Bhagwan, like Bahubali Bhagwan. Bahubali Bhagwan is not one of the 24, right? He is Siddh because he attained moksha, but he was never a Tirthankar. Make sense? So, ऐसा नहीं होता है कि हमारे जो सारे temples होते हैं, they are always dedicated to a Tirthankar Bhagwan. There are a few temples which, especially Siddh जहाँ Siddh क्षेत्र होते हैं, you will find certain tirth which are dedicated to a non-Tirthankar or whom we call as Samanya Kevli, ordinary Kevlis. है ना? So there are Kevli Bhagwans are of two types, Tirthankar Kevli and Samanya Kevli, right? Majority of temples that we have around India and anywhere on this earth are dedicated to a Tirthankar Kevli because obviously their upkar on us is more. We find more inspiration from them and their life stories. They were able, before they become Tirthankar, their life was a role model. Even before, in the previous lives, they had done so many great things. They attained the 16 contemplations, the 16 bhavanas, and that's why they got Tirthankar Namkaran. and became Tirthankar. It's a rarest of rare opportunity. Like out of the infinite souls that are there are only 24 in this multiverse who got to the title of Tirthankar. So you can imagine what kind of punya those souls would have done in their past lives to get to this state, right? But that doesn't mean, there are not other souls which would have made it to moksha. Obviously, there are other souls also, which we refer to as ordinary Kevlis or Samanya Kevli. Extra knowledge, but I just wanted you to understand that. Mika, your hand is raised, so go ahead.
Um, how would we know, like, if a ordinary kidney is actually an ordinary kidney, or if that is a Ariant?
Great question. Now, I would, Sarthak, you want to add something before I answer this?
Yeah, I know the answer.
Go ahead.
When a Tirthankar is born, they have their symbol on their right toe,
Perfect.
foot toe.
That's one of the chinna that helps us in differentiating. Right now, in terms of the architecture, there are some symbols. I'll go there some later, but that's one of them. And then Tirthankars are one whose life, in their life, there are four events or five Kalyanaks or five events. I said four because one event actually happens at the time of the conception, so which is Garbh Kalyanak. But in their life, there are five events that are like uh, only happens in life of a Tirthankar. But as Sarthak said, Tirthankars are born with multiple such symbols in their body, around their body. That symbol that Sarthak talked about, the chin, is just one of them. They are born with about 1008 symbols. Different type of symbol. Their bodies are of a different type, their blood is of a different type, and so forth. I mean, some of them are really magical, unimaginable, because the times that we are living in, it's even very difficult to comprehend and realize it. It appears very impractical. Like one of their thing is their blood is white. Now, in the current age and form, it may not appear scientific if we say there is a human being, who is born with just white blood. But yes, I mean, that's one of the facts coming from our Agam as one of those key traits or key symbols of Tirthankar Bhagwan. Now, when it comes to Kevli Bhagwan, Mihika, the ordinary Kevlis, I mean, it's very difficult to assess because we ourselves are not blessed with that kind of power and importantly knowledge to differentiate between a Siddh and a Kevli and a Mook Kevli or a Samanya Kevli and whatnot. Also, when it comes to Samanya Kevli, they are also can be divided into two categories. One is Amuk Kevlis who express themselves, right? There is a reflection of their attaining moksha, attaining Keval Gyan through their acts, through their sermons, through their life stories. But then there is a bigger category of Kevli Bhagwans whose life is unknown to us because they kept it that way. They were Mon. Mook means silent. The word Mook means silent or Mon, right? Their life stories are not even known to anybody and they don't care about it because the purpose of attaining moksha is not about making yourself glamorous and visible to everyone, but rather to attain that state of equanimity so that you are freeing yourself from the cycle of life, freeing yourself from all the karma. So that's why there are so many of Samanya Mook Kevlis whom even if they would have been with us, like in the next sitting to us, let's say hypothetically, we would not be able to recognize them because they keep it to themselves. They are always silent. They do not express themselves as being Kevli Bhagwan. Make sense? Right? So only thing that is available to us through this body of knowledge is the knowledge about either the Tirthankar Bhagwans, the 24 of them, or some of the ordinary Kevalis that we are aware of, because their life stories are inspiration to us. Like, example, Bahubali Bhagwan, Bharat Chakravarti. Even in our tradition, Jain tradition, Hanuman, Ram, Sugriv, Nal, Neel, these characters from Ramayana have actually attained moksha. They were Kevali Bhagwan, they were Samanya Kevalis before they attained moksha, right? So their stories are also available to us, and we consider them as Samanya Kevali, who are at par with Tirthankar, but we worship them as in their Siddhavastha, in they being Siddh, those who have renunciated this world, not the souls or the beings with the arrows and bows and talwars and whatever, right? Because that's not an expression that we seek shelter in. We seek shelter in Arihant Bhagwan, Siddha Bhagwan, sadhus. Sahu means sadhus, and the Kevali Bhagwan dwara bataya gaya dharm, that is Kevali Panattu dharm. Okay, so that said, let me play this video. This is a very short video on Tirthankar Bhagwan. I think most of things are already covered in what I told you, so you may not find it different than what I'm saying. Okay, so let me play this to you for you.
Spirits. What kind of Bhagwads do you worship there? What kind of Bhagwads do you pray to there? I know near my temple we worship Mahavir Bhagwad, Pathshala Bhagwad, and Chanda Prabhu Bhagwad. What Bhagwad idols do you have at your temple? Did you know a lot of the idols at your temple are of Tirthankars? Well, what is a Tirthankar? What is so special about them that we worship them? Tirthankars are those who have 5 special celebrations in their life. Also, they are those who give us information about religion. They teach us good things and give us information on how we can live a Jain way of life. Do you like celebrations such as Diwali, Holi, Mahavir Jayanti? We all celebrate these festivals because of a special reason. The same way, there are 5 celebrations in the life of a Tirthankar. Those celebrations are called Kalyaniks. What are those celebrations called? They are called Kalyaniks. The first Kalyanik is Garb Kalyanik.
This is when the Bhagwan soul comes from heaven and enters the mother's womb.
The next one is Janam Kalyanik. This is when Bhagwan is born. The third is Tap Kalyanik. This is when Bhagwan leaves all his wealth from his kingdom and becomes a monk. The fourth one is Gyan Kalyanik. This is when Bhagwan reaches infinite knowledge about the universe. The last one is Moksha Kalyanik. This is when all the good and bad karmas are gone and Bhagwan's soul leaves the body and becomes a pure Siddh. These 5 Kalyaniks are sometimes celebrated by angels from heaven. Okay, so what is so special about a Tirthankar's life that they have these huge and auspicious celebrations? Come on, let's think about it. A long time ago, a Tirthankar did a really good, ethical, and auspicious things. In other words, Bhagwan has decided that he should do good for all living beings. He wants all life to be happy. If we have these thoughts as well, and not just for our friends and family, but for every living being in the universe, we would never have any bad thoughts about anyone, and we would be able to live life like a Tirthankar. We would have a lot less karmas and we'd live a better life. Okay, so we have 24 total Tirthankars in this era. The first Tirthankar was Adinath Bhagwan, and the last Tirthankar was Mahavir Bhagwan. And we have a new group of 24 Tirthankars after regular intervals. We should have all the 24 Tirthankars' names memorized. By saying their name, our mind can become tranquil. We have a good prayer to remember it.
Okay, this one again, I would like you to go with the recitation here. It's a short way of remembering the name. By the way, do any of one of you already know the names of the current 24 Tirthankars? Awesome, Sarthak. That's cool. How about, okay, are you the only one? Okay, if you are the only one, I'll challenge all the other four to probably memorize the names. And that's where this tool, this small poem will come handy. You know, it's a fast way of remembering the name. When I was your age, I challenged myself to memorize this small poem and remember the names. In fact, I surprised my dadi when I memorize these names. So, you know, if I can do it, you all are more blessed to do it, right? I mean, you can always do it. Hai na? So it's a good thing to remember, because these are the things, the knowledge that you should know first, because one day when you will be my age and you will be taking this class, you know, the kids will be expecting you to pass down this knowledge. Your kids and beyond, right? That's how we have survived. We have survived as a tradition, as a culture for so long, in spite of all the hardships and difficult times. You know, if we don't take pride in make effort to know our own things, you cannot expect other people to know about you, right? People would not even care if what Jains are, if we ourselves don't care who we are. है ना? So it's very important for us to make some effort, slight effort every day to know one concept, memorize it, so that you know it stays with us for this life. है ना? So with that said, why don't you go with, at least try to make an attempt to uh, uh, to s- to speak the small poem with the names of all the 24 Bhagwans, of all the 24 Bhagwans. Okay, let me play it.
ऋषभ अजित संभव अभिनंदन सुमति पद्म सुपार्जिन राय चंद्र सुविधि शीतल श्रेयांस जिन वासु पूज्य पूजित सुर राय विमल अनंत धर्म जस उज्ज्वल शांति कुंतु अर मल्ली बनाय मुनि सुव्रत नभि नेमि पार्श्व प्रभु वर्धमान पद पुष्प चढ़ाय.
You must have
So it's a small
noticed
one,
that
but you
below a
can always
Tirthankar's
recite it.
idol, there is a little picture or a sign, such as a snake, lion, or a crescent moon. Do you know what this is? This sign is a symbol for Tirthankar, and it is unique to each Tirthankar. When a Tirthankar is born, all the angels come down to see it. We talked about it, and this is Janam Kalyanak. The king of angels, Indra, can see a little symbol on the right foot of the baby. Whatever the side is, that is the side of the Tirthankar. This is how we're able to differentiate the Tirthankars. This is how Mahavir Bhagwan has a lion symbol and Adinath Bhagwan has a bull symbol. That's pretty cool, right? Okay, well, in the next video, we will talk about the 5 Kalyanics of the Tirthankars. It will feel like you're time traveling back to when that actually happened. You will come with us on that journey, right? I hope you enjoyed this. Jai Janindra.
Okay, so few things, right? One, Tirthankar, there are 24 in a particular era. For this universe, there are other universes, they have their own set of Tirthankar Bhagwans, but we are talking about our own universe. In our universe, in a particular time cycle, half time cycle, there are 24 Tirthankars. Okay. The current Tirthankars, we all know their names. We should make an attempt to memorize those names. Tirthankar's life is it has 5 important celebrations, right? Right from Garbh Kalyanak to Janm Kalyanak to Diksha Kalyanak to Gyan Kalyanak to Moksha Kalyanak. These are the Kalyanaks, or the 5 important celebrations in life of a Tirthankar. We should know about them. Tirthankar baby, when a baby Tirthankar is born, they are born with 1008 different chinna, and one of them is this particular symbol, the chinna, that is what we see on the idol of Bhagwan, of a Tirthankar Bhagwan. So two things make if we are talking about architecturally to differentiate between an idol of Bhagwan Tirthankar and a Samanya Kevli, One of them is the symbol, the chinna for that. Chinna are only present for Tirthankar Bhagwans, not for Samanya Kevli. That's one. The second thing is, I don't know if you notice, if you would have noticed, but if you look at these 24 idols, there is a flower-like formation at the center, at at this chakra that we have, where heart is. You see that? There is a flower-like formation for every idol. That's what we call as Shrivats. What do we call it? Shrivats. Shrivats is only present for Tirthankar Bhagwans. It is there, sculpture wise, you will only find this on an idol of a Tirthankar Bhagwan. Like if you'll go and see the idol of Bahubali Bhagwan, Bhagwan Bahubali's idol which exists, monolithic idol, the standing Bahubali Bhagwan that has been there for about 1,000 years in near in Karnataka, right, in near Bangalore. That idol you will not find a Shrivats, because Bahubali Bhagwan is a Samanya Kevli, he is not a Tirthankar. है ना? तो ये कुछ, there are some subtle things which are part of our tradition to differentiate between an idol of Bhagwan Tirthankar and idol of Bhagwan Samanya Kevli. है ना? So these are things you should remember, and they are not just symbols. They have been there inspired by their life stories. Like, the reason why there is a chin of a snake at the for Parshvanath Bhagwan is because on his right leg's thumb, there was this toe, there was this symbol of a serp or a snake. Likewise for Rishabdev Bhagwan, it's a ox. For Mahavir Bhagwan, it's a lion, and so on and so forth. है ना? Suvidhinath Bhagwan has a swastik, and some Bhagwans like Padma Prabhu Bhagwan have a pink lotus, and so on and so forth. And it's always very, you should be curious. You should ask ChatGPT. How about that? Ask ChatGPT, what's the symbol of Mahavir Bhagwan? And you will be surprised. You can use technology the way you want it to you, for your own betterment, and this is one of those use. Okay, so we'll keep going. So I think this is it. This is what we wanted to cover today. Any questions for me? Anything new? Anything that you will take away, and probably something that was new to you? Let me ask that. Praniti, anything new that you were not knowing, and probably now you are more curious to know more about it? Maybe you'll Google it or ask ChatGPT.
I didn't know that the Bhagwans have a symbol on their foot. I only knew about the heart.
I see. Okay, the Shrivats, we call it Shrivats. Okay, the flower thing, there is a name for it. It is called as Shrivats. Okay, great. Okay, how about you, Mihika? What did you learn today?
That they go through 5 major stages in their life.
Okay, the Kalyanaks, right? So again, one important thing about this class is, while we are doing the teaching in English, I think you should challenge yourself to memorize the names as they are in our text. है ना? So Mihika, the 5 stages or 5 important celebrations, if that's what you mean by stages, we call them as Kalyanak. What do we call them?
Kalyanak.
Kalyanak. Perfect. Arush, how about you? What did you learn which you were not already knowing?
I learned that there's 1,008 ways to about the Tirthankars.
Yes, 1,008
differentiate.
special markers or chin
Yeah,
that are used, that are in the cognizance of Indra, through which he decides, oh yes, this baby is a blessed one. This is a Tirthankar soul that is come here, and perhaps this is and not perhaps, and this is their last life, because they will attain moksha after this. So yes, that's one. Okay, glad that you picked that up. How about you, Sarthak?
I learned that the old texts are not in Sanskrit but in Prakrit.
Awesome, great. Now you should try to find a stranger in Prakrit and supply it to Chat GPT and see whether it's able to translate it or not. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, good that you picked that up. I'm glad. Right? So Prakrit is an old language, and Jainism, like if you go to Buddhists, right? Buddhist school, Buddhist people, for them language is Pali, right? So Pali is their language, and most of their old scripture is in Pali. Similarly, for Jains, it is Prakrit. Most of the Vedic text has been in Sanskrit. Uh, Not that in Jain text, you will not find Jain text in Sanskrit. There are umpteen number of agams that are written in Sanskrit originally and later translated in other languages. But that's how it is, right? So I'm glad that you picked that up. How about you, Deshna? What did you learn special today?
I learned about that Tirthankar have white blood and like they have like 1000 different symbols on their blood.
1008. 1000.
1000.
Yes, they are differentiators, markers, है ना? For another day. But yeah, you should get curious and ask. Maybe ask ChatGPT what are those 1008 you know markers for Tirthankar Bhagwan. I don't know. I'll ask it today. Let's see. I always try to test the knowledge of ChatGPT, how much it knows about Jainism. So I'll probably ask this question. I have it in the book. I know a few by heart, which are magical, which are different. So yes, I'm glad, Deshna, you picked that up. But most importantly, I would expect all of you to memorize the Mangal part. Very important. Very, very important. है ना? It's very easy to memorize it. As I mentioned, it's 3 times 4, right? The concept repetition is there, and you can probably, very quickly pick it up. Okay. With that said, if we have no more questions, probably we can end today's Pathshala class. We do that with a small part. We'll do that together. जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक, ते वाणी मस्तक धरूं सदा देहूं धोक। हे जिनवाणी भारती माँ तोहे जपूं दिन रैन, जो तेरी शरणा गए माँ सो पावे सुख चैन. And we all should seek forgiveness from others who were participating in a session, and we do that by saying Michhami Dukdam and Uttam Shama. So I seek forgiveness from you if in my words, in my actions, in my thoughts, if I have caused any harm to you. And against that, I'm seeking forgiveness by saying Michhami Dukdam and Uttam Shama. So Uttam Shama from all of you. Jai Jinendra.
Yes.
Jai Jinendra, beta.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.